John Alite Show. I'm Mike Dowd, co-host of the John Alite Show, and we have John Alite. And John, your guest today is Matt Cox, the infamous Matt Cox, the guy who knew Gingrich, and he did a commercial together with.
All right. So thank you for having me. I mean,
what do you think, John? The guy took a lot of money.
Yeah, well,
would you have worked with him?
100%.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy to do what he did, and I love the way you speak. Honestly, you just throw it out there, and there's no sugarcoating anything, and you go right at it, and you're just who you are.
So, how'd you get on the commercial?
how
did that work for you?
My booking agent actually saw Home Title Lock, and he said to me, hey, this Home Title Lock, like, they protect people, they monitor people against doing what you did. You want me to contact them and see if they want you to be like a spokesperson? I was like, fuck yeah, of course I do. I said, I mean, if you want to. I'm like, I don't even know how to get in touch with them. And he's like, yeah, I'll look into it. Man, like 2 hours later, he goes, okay, there's a girl named Jennifer. She's going to be sending you an email. Like, he just had it all linked up. She's within the next day, she's going to hit you up. I gave her your stuff. She'll contact you. 20 minutes later, boom, email from Jennifer. And I'm like, she's like, hey, can we set up a call? The next day, we set up a call. A month later, they're flying me out to Oklahoma to be in a commercial.
Hey, Matt, can you give the people that don't know what your charges were and what you did? You give them a little override.
Well, I met him from the TV too, you know. I did his.
Cut me off again.
I know. It's a con.
What do you want to do? You want to talk about why he's here?
You know why, Matt? Because he thinks he's slick because he's wearing the
I got my pink. I'm in pink today, you know, because last time we did a show, he wore something pink, and everybody made a comment. You are wearing pink. Sure. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted. No, because
there's some people you can make
I did a show with
too, and some people you can't.
I did a show with Matt, but in fact, your number one show, Matt. I mean, I hate to say it, but
it got like 120,000 views or something.
And it was your first one, was it?
It's going to be number 2 now.
You think this one's going to be better?
Because I'm here.
Yeah, that's true. So John, you wanted to know what his situation was?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a mortgage broker in Tampa, and I basically was committing fraud periodically.
Oh, so you actually had a job?
Oh, it was a real job.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know? You didn't? Are you serious?
I'm serious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was a mortgage broker. I went and I was dating this chick, and she was a stripper. And so she, of course,
perfect.
As soon as she graduated school, she actually did put herself through college stripping.
Okay.
So she graduated with a degree in finance. She met a guy who owned a mortgage, a lender, at the strip club, and he offered her a job because obviously, if you own a legitimate company and you're in a strip club, you're thinking, how can I hire these strippers? They would make great salespeople. So he hires her. Very soon afterwards, he started banging her, you know. But I'm sure it was, you know.
Before you or after you?
No. While we were living together.
But not in a relationship?
No, he was married.
You and her?
No, I was living with her.
Oh.
He starts banging my girlfriend. But I don't know this.
Could you imagine?
I don't know this.
Guy's banging his girlfriend. What would you do?
Ask him if I can join in.
He says,
knock on the door.
Hey, let me in there.
So she says to me initially, and I should have known something was wrong, by the way. You know why? Because she said to me, when she first met the guy, she's like, oh my God, he owns this lender. Owns a lending company. He's got a bunch of branches, this and that. He flips houses. You know, he said he'd help us flip houses. And I was working construction at the time. So I go,
hold on.
Is this going to be the whole time? This is going to be, I thought, an hour and a half. When he said it's going to be at least an hour and a half.
Right.
Hold on. You worked construction.
Wait a second. They always write me in. Man, when he does this, don't you want...
You were working construction first.
Shoot him. They ask me. I go, nah, I'm used to it.
Wait. Now we have two jobs. You did construction prior to being a mortgage broker.
No. I'm telling you how I became a mortgage broker.
You're not paying attention.
Yeah. I told you I was dating the chick.
Right.
We're living together.
Right.
She comes home from her job stripping one night, says, I met this guy. He owns a lending institution. Right. He wants to help us flip houses. So she was pushing this agenda because I was working construction. She's saying, hey, we can start flipping houses.
She's banging him.
Not yet. They just met.
But when they start banging, then you fuck him because you get in his mortgage business, and then you
No, he's banging nails.
not fuck him that way.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, what happens is I should have known something was wrong because she kept saying, you should be a mortgage broker. You should be a mortgage broker. And then one day she stopped mentioning it. But by this point, I want to be a mortgage broker.
Right.
So I say, I want to be a mortgage broker. I fly up. I go meet him. He says, okay, I'll hire you. He flies me to North Carolina. They train me. Greensboro. I fly down. I start working at the mortgage company. He immediately transfers her to Sarasota. So I'm in Tampa. She's in Sarasota. Yeah. She has to move out. He buys a rehab that's actually a very nice house and moves her in it. I'm naive because the thing is, this guy's like, he had freckles. He's a fucking ginger. He got freckles. He's goofy looking. He's got blonde or orange hair.
Soulless.
If anybody
He had money.
Yeah, it was green ginger.
So I'm literally, when people are making comments like he's banging her, and I'm overhearing this at the office, I'm thinking, look at me.
Yeah.
He's not fucking banging her. Look at me.
Yeah.
Are you out of your fucking mind? He's a douchebag.
Yeah.
And he's got like 3 fucking kids and a wife. What are you talking about? Delusional. The point is that I start doing really well. And that company folds. It goes under.
Oh.
And I at that point realize she's fucking him.
Right.
And I say, yeah, all right. This is what's going on. I don't believe you. It's over. We end up breaking up. I end up working for another company for about 3 or 4 months. Then I opened my own company. But the problem is, by that point, I'm already committing a little fraud.
That's what I was saying before. I thought it was justifiable for you to fuck him over, thinking that to you, but you didn't really get him.
I didn't really get him.
Yeah.
I didn't get him. And look, ultimately, this is funny. His ex-wife knew something was wrong. She started hearing stuff.
Right.
She has a fucking private investigator follow him when he flies to Florida and pictures everything. Then she divorces him. The two of them end up getting married, having a kid. So he divorces his wife. She and I, we break up. Yeah. They get married. They have another kid, and they're still married to this day. So from her point of view, it's a romantic story. From my point of view, she's a whore.
Right.
But both versions are
you're
true.
very logical. I mean,
right.
you are very logical.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, I mean,
how many years are they together now?
Oh God, they've been together. It's got to be 20 years. 15, 20, almost 20 years. 20 years now.
Yourself a divorce.
Wow, that's actually that's almost romantic in a way. I hate this.
From her point of view.
I think I see it. Yeah.
And honestly, they had a lot in common. She played softball. He played minor league ball. He was probably perfect for her. So anyway, I start committing a little bit of fraud here, just nothing. Okay, I hate to say this.
Go ahead.
Because there's no little bit of fraud. Right. It's black or white. But I start committing fraud to get people loans. You come in, you made $80,000 last year, but if you and you don't quite qualify for the loan for the house you want to buy, but if you made $85,000, you could get the loan.
Right.
So I change your W-2, I alter the document, nobody put it in, nobody catches it, it goes through, you get the loan, I get my commission. So that ends up blowing up. I start doing more and more and more. It got to the point where if you just walked in the door, you're getting a loan. Like, you have a pulse. Unless you just claim bankruptcy, I'm getting you a loan.
Yeah, right. You figured out how to do it
very quickly.
Yeah,
figured out and I kept every time.
And you'll get your piece.
Well, and every time you get away with a crime, you become emboldened.
Yes, of course.
I'm smarter than them. I'm better than them. I can do this. I can fix it. And then it becomes a challenge.
Right. Well, that was like our lives, though, John.
Yeah,
right. I mean, every time you got away with
you did it with a pen. I did it with a gun. I mean, still.
Yeah, but wait. Did you have mortgages? Did you have homes?
Yeah.
Did you?
Of course.
How'd you get a loan? You went in with the gun?
No, I went to, back in those days, it was Greenpoint Savings.
Oh, okay.
So I had the guys in there.
Yeah. So he had a guy like me.
A couple of days, I'd get $1 million. If I wanted $1.5 million, I'd pay an extra couple of points to him.
Right. Like I would have, I had like drug dealers, guys who had like no job. Like, I don't even know what you do. You come in, but you've got decent credit.
Right.
Or maybe no credit, but you've got 20% to put down. Boom. I'm going to make up the fact that you've got a job. I'm going to make up your rental history. I'm going to make up the down payment, the bank account, everything.
You need him right now.
You know what me and him? Comment, right? You know what? I'm a New Yorker, right?
Right.
But my case was based out of the Middle District of Florida, Tampa.
Okay.
We know what it is. This is a strict district, the strictest in the country, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not
This
fucking
was a
around.
bad place to fuck around with fraud. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You should have picked another city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know guys in other parts of the country where they're like, I can't believe you did any jail time at all. Or other countries are like, you would have gotten 3 years, and they would have let you do it on home confinement, which they consider incarceration.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You do it in your living room with an ankle monitor. Fucking, they're hammering you.
Yeah.
So, but what ended up happening was eventually I ended up getting caught. I get a charge. I get a slap on the wrist. Or slap on the hand. I get 3 years probation. But instead of saying, hey, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to start selling used cars. This didn't work out. And so I lost my mortgage company. I actually sold it to somebody else, transferred it into their name. A friend of mine was a CPA and he's running it and he's paying me. And then I kept committing fraud. So I open up a development company and I start making synthetic identities, like fake people. So I figure out how to get Social Security to issue me Social Security numbers to people that don't exist. And I would create a fake profile. I get secured credit cards, make the payments, and after like 6 months, they would have 700 credit scores. So now I've got this person who's got his own SOCH, his own date of birth, his own SOCH, his own driver's license, everything.
You created someone.
A fake person.
Right.
And then I would have that person go and buy a house for $40,000 in Ybor City. You know Ybor City?
Yeah, right.
Like they were shitholes back then, right? They're still shitholes, but now they're expensive.
Now they're $400,000
for the same shithole.
Same shit.
So I'd buy a house for like $50,000 and I would record the value of the house. I'd record the sale at $200,000.
Right.
So that's a $200,000 sale. And so I did that where one guy's buying 5 houses, one guy's buying 6, one guy's buying 4, all different people. And so the area went from the median price of, let's say, $75,000 up to like $250,000. And then I would refinance the house, pull out $150,000, $200,000 out of each house. So each guy gets about $1 million. And then I make a few payments to let them go into foreclosure. Bank would take the house back and they just think, oh, we lent too much money on the house, and they never thought fraud.
Right.
So I walk away with the money. That went on for a couple of years. I got $11.5 million. And then at some point the FBI gets involved. I have a buddy that got caught in the bank. And when they grabbed him, he said, look, I don't want to go to jail.
Right.
I can give you a guy who's running a huge fucking scam. This was in Orlando, in Tampa. So he works with a task force. They come to arrest me, but I have a friend who's a sheriff's deputy who comes to me and says, you're going to be arrested in the next couple of days. So I take off on the run. I go off on the run.
Another guy on the run.
Did you
got to
like in Brazil and Cuba and Africa? Oh, no.
No, bro, I'm scared.
He ran around the block.
Can't.
Where'd you run?
I went to Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I went to Atlanta. I go to Atlanta.
Myself a lot of headaches because I spent 2.5 years in Brazil.
No, I mean, look, like, here's the thing. Everybody's like, why didn't you leave the United States? Oh, I did. I went to, I went to Italy, I went to Greece, I went to Croatia. Like, I traveled. I've traveled. I had false passports. So by that point, I'd figured out how to get the DMV to issue me driver's license, how to get the State Department to issue me false passports. I've had over 20, is it not over? I've had about 24.
I got caught with 6. Yeah. 6 and another one was kind of like a passport, so 7.
Well, so I actually only got caught with about 6 when they caught me, but I've had that many.
Right.
So I actually didn't even get caught with them. My girlfriend at the time, as soon as I got in trouble, she fucking went straight to the bank, got the safety deposit box, and went straight to the Secret Service and said, here's 6 fucking passports. I didn't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Like, wow. You didn't even hold out for a little bit.
They're good. They're good. How about a negotiation here?
I hated. You're not even in trouble.
Yeah, right.
So I took off on the run, stole another like $3.5 to $4 million, got caught in a bank one time, talked my way out, convinced him I hadn't done anything. Yeah. They let me go. I was on the run for 3 years, and then they caught me. Eventually they caught me, and I went to prison. I got 26 years in prison. When I was in prison, literally tried not to get to 26, gave up everybody I fucking knew. Desperate to fucking give up everybody I know.
You're shy about that.
You're shy.
Oh yeah, I'm embarrassed. I'm ready to cut everybody's fucking throat. Like at this point, everybody's cut my throat. So by this point, like the first time I got in trouble, I didn't say anything.
Right.
I'm like, I'll take the. They even told me, my lawyer told me, I can get your charges dropped. You haven't been indicted yet, so we can do pretrial intervention. Just go into your mortgage company and bring 5 or 6 of your most egregious files from your brokers. Give them to the FBI, work with them. I'll get you so that you won't even have to get indicted. And I was like, not doing it.
Yeah, you're a tough guy.
I'm not doing it. I've seen Godfather.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep my mouth. So, if I'd known then, I would have shown up at the weekly meeting with a dolly and said, help me get the fucking load up. Then I helped the guys load it up in the back of a truck and said, look, I'm just suggesting you guys get a lawyer, do the right thing. Right. And I'd have driven it straight to the FBI office.
You should have called Dowd. Do you know who that is?
No.
He was one of my partners, and they caught him in a little scam. Nothing major with mortgages.
Right.
Then a little bit with weed. And he wired up, and, against me. He couldn't get me on the wire, though. He tried. But he was giving up everybody in his mother. So he owns a couple of places here in Tampa. He owns Scores. He owns a couple of nightclubs, and he got very rich off of me. And later on, I guess off of everybody else, he didn't hold out at all. He just gave everybody up. So.
Well, listen, I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to me, I thought everybody was gonna, be loyal, and there was a code. And
yeah, right.
bullshit,
Yeah, so well, so I mean, John, so like you guys did a little fraud. Then my big fraud was my Corvette.
Yeah,
I gave the keys to some guy, Vinny, and Vinny took the car. And then they actually called me in. The investigator was probably a retired cop, because they're all the investigators are retired cops.
Right.
So you had somebody steal your Corvette.
I had somebody steal my Corvette. I gave him the keys, and I went away for a couple of days, and I came back, and my reported my car stolen. Of course, they had more questions for me than I even thought of. Well, how did they come from your driveway? How did they get there? Where's your second set of keys? We only have one set. Where's the other set? A lot of. I'm like, wait a minute, why are you questioning me? I'm the police. You're questioning me? I said, just give me my money. It's like $27,000 I'm supposed to get in a check, And boy, oh boy, I tell you, of course, Kenny gave that up. Kenny's the guy from the 7-5 documentary. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah.
You're familiar
I saw it.
Yeah. So the 7-5 documentary, Kenny was the one who gave them. Listen, he gave. So when I was the connection to this whole situation is, and why? And listen, you got 3 guys in a room here.
Yeah.
How many years did you do?
About 18.
All right, and you did
13,
and I got a 14-year sentence. I did 12 and a half. So we got a lot of.
Oh, you're talking about time you actually did.
Yeah.
12 and a half. It's a lot of time you did.
Yeah, I'm talking about prison. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you meant,
What?
Vacationing.
No, but between the 3 of us, there's a lot of
40 fucking.
There's a lot of time.
That's 43 years.
There's a lot of time spent behind the pen here, But the what got us there, obviously, was what we did, and the things that we did. But with Kenny, when I was out on bail, I mean, I don't know if you know, like, did anybody ever put a wire on against you?
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
And
you?
Yeah.
Oh, so I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Kenny put the wire on, and he went down the list. He must have had they must have gave him a predetermined list on who they wanted to know about. He went down the list. What about this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy? So by the time I get pinched, they know what my mother has. They know what my mother did for fucking the last 30 fucking years. So
well, I'm going to tell you something. The old Days Inn on the Causeway?
Yeah.
I forget, they renamed the hotel there. So we used to stay there on a regular basis.
Am I okay with the glasses?
Yeah, very good. Actually, not just the pink. So we were there, a couple of guys. We get a suite, double room.
We're in Tampa?
In Tampa, right?
Oh, okay.
Causeway. And this is one occasion. And we go out the front door, but we also have a back door that goes to the pool. Because I always wanted both. It's just I just come down with 5-6 guys to get the suites. So we go out. We leave the room. And I told the guy before we left, make sure you lock that door. Make sure you check it and you lock it. So he did. We left and I forgot something. I said, hey, you know what? Make a U-turn. I got to go back.
Oh, the U-turn.
We go back.
The U-turn.
And the key won't work for the door. So I go, try it again. He goes, it won't work. I said, we went out the front door. So that bar can't be on the door. You got that bar.
Yeah.
So when you put the key in, if the bar's there, it won't work. So I tell one of the guys after a while, I says, go to the desk and bring the guy. So the manager comes over, he knows me. And I says, hey, the door won't open. And you can see his face. And I says, my other friend, Frankie, go around the back and see if you can get in the back door. And the back door's wide open. So they were trying to wire up my room.
I was going to say.
Back, and they ran out the back. So that was just one occasion. I mean, I had so many different, they had so many different investigations on me and trying to set me up with, wiring up apartments, wiring up guys like Duke, wiring up, Duke went to Philadelphia actually try to wear wire on me in the airport, but I knew what he was doing. So, and Tampa's very proactive. Yeah. When they're after, they don't like.
Right. They're proactive. Yeah.
Then I had another agent that came and tried to set us up on a sting, and we met with him, and we foiled his thing. We knew he was an agent, so.
I literally, when this chick and her husband wore a wire on me, I knew in the middle of the conversation, I realized, oh my God.
But what made you realize it?
So,
what was the key? Because there's always something.
So this other mortgage company, I had run a bunch of loans through them.
Right.
They got busted.
Right.
Or they got I just knew they were being investigated.
Yeah, right.
By the FBI.
Right.
And I just refinanced this chick's house to get her like $75,000 to pay her attorney.
Right.
As soon as she gave him the $75,000, he said, "You should turn this guy in. You should wear a wire against this guy." So she goes to the FBI. She and her husband get a wire on, and they call me up and they go, "Listen, can you meet us at the pizzeria down the street?" I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I go to the pizzeria and I walk in. I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" I sit down, and it turns out there's an agent, of course, sitting next to. I don't know that.
Yeah.
And this is funny because afterwards I found this. I realized what had happened.
Usually it's after. I know.
Well, I'm sitting there going, I said, "So what's going on?" She goes, "Look, the FBI came in, they seized all of our files, and they're asking questions about my wife at the time. They're asking questions about your wife." And I went, "Well," because those were little bad loans I had done. And I went, I said, "Fuck." And she said, "So they're asking a bunch of questions like, holy shit, you didn't tell them the W-2s were fake, did you? You didn't tell them the pay stubs were fake, did you? You didn't tell them that." Like, I just fucking
you fucked up. You fucked up. Yeah.
And halfway through, I sit there and I'm like, holy shit. And I look up and the agent, which I found out later was their agent, has a piece of pizza. And you know how they put the napkin under the pizza? Yeah. He had rolled it up and he was eating the pizza and eating the napkin. And I go, "Excuse me, sir. Hey," I go, "Sir," like that. And finally, you could tell he's like trying not to look at me.
Yeah.
And I realized, and I now realize, like he was like any idiot would go, what's up, man? Yeah. I go, "Yo, sir." And so they're like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, why are you?
And he looks at me, he goes, like that. I said, "Bro, you're eating your napkin." And he goes, "What?" I go, "You're eating your napkin, bro." And he goes, "Oh God, I'm sorry. Thank you." And I remember Pete, which was the husband. He's like, like it's fucking mad. and she's like, and they're all relieved. And I thought, that's weird. So that was one thing.
Yeah.
But then I say, "Okay, listen." I said, "Here's what you do. When you talk to the FBI, just tell them that you never actually met my wife. You tell them you never met Kayla. You never," and they go, "Well, we can't lie to the FBI." And I went, What?
Yeah, he slept.
I go, "What do you mean you can't lie to the FBI?" And I said, "You've been lying the whole fucking time." Yeah. They goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Bro, I just refinanced your fucking house using."
They didn't know that though.
They didn't know that.
Right.
I said, "You're using."
That's happened to me.
Fake, I go, "Fake W-2s and pay stubs." I said, "You're fucking lying. You're still committing fucking fraud."
Yeah, right. You are.
Pete stands up and he says, "We've never lied to the FBI. We may not have told them everything, but we've never lied."
Yes.
And I remember I thought,
exactly what happened in my fucking situation. Almost to a T.
What the fuck? Who's he talking to? And I thought, oh, fuck. And I looked at Gretchen because I wasn't really friends with her fucking husband. Like she and I, she'd been my manager. We'd worked together before. I looked at her and I went, well, fuck. I said, "I hope you're getting something from me." Like that. And she looked at me and she fucking starts crying, just tears immediately. Boom. Yeah. And she says, she goes, "I don't have to go to jail." And she goes, "Matt, I have a daughter." And I go, "I don't have a son?"
Yeah. Right.
I looked at her and I went, I said, listen. I said, "You know what?" I said, "Tell the FBI to call me on the phone. Do not come by my office because when they came to her office, she had like 6 people working for them. They all quit.
Right.
And I knew my fucking 12 guys.
They were gone.
They're all
gone.
They're already telling me not to talk to her.
Right. When you're in that position, everybody abandons you. So when my investigation started down here in Tampa, I had a parking company that was a multi-million-dollar company. And I had guys like Duke Mandel that was cooperating. Then I had 717, the Gotti brothers. They were cooperating against me. Then I had Terry Scaglione, who was one of my partners. He was an informant. And, you know, in those days, I was known actually as a mob guy. I was later on in Cigar City magazine. Terry's grandfather was a made guy. So when all these guys are cooperating, the FBI comes in with a sting. And they start making up phony cards and going to parking companies of only my lots and all my places, but nobody else's. And I go, this ain't right. And I tell Terry at the time, he's my partner, do not talk to this guy. Don't threaten him. I'll set up a meeting. So I set up a meeting for him to meet us at the Causeway, at the restaurant, the Causeway. Remember the restaurant on the left? I forget what it was called. Right before...
Gators?
Not Gators. What is that restaurant that was there for years?
There was like the Sandy Pelican, wasn't there?
It was right before those 2 places that were there that were popular. Whatever.
I'm thinking Scarlett's.
It was a little restaurant where you pull up. It was right on the water. Anyway, we meet there, and he comes with this woman, and I get them drinking. And when he goes to the bathroom, I ask her about 5, 6 questions. And I said, don't talk when he sat down. I asked him 5 or 6 questions. Like, what kind of car did you come in? When did you get married? Where'd you meet? Do you have a dog? What's the dog's name? He couldn't answer him.
Right.
And he goes, I go, listen, I know who you are.
Yeah.
And he goes, how do you know? I goes, you only gave cards out to my lots trying to fuck with my people only and nobody other companies. So I knew you were trying to do something to me. I says, then your cards are cheap.
Yeah, and your cards are cheap.
You should have spent some more money. He goes, do you need a friend? I don't need any friends. I said, I got enough friends. I said, see you later.
Yeah.
Good day. But I knew what you were doing because he was trying to get me to clean money for him. He said he had an organization. He said he owned nightclubs offshore, and he was trying to maneuver me in a fraud for drug running and whatever.
Money laundering.
For my parking company with cash. But I had all these guys, and they're all involved. They're all trying to set me up at the same time besides the agent. So, you know, later on, I lose my company. But this was a regular thing. When you're on the street like this, they're going to come at you every which way. You're not going to last long. For people to think that, and that's always my message in all my shows, is do the right thing with your life because it's short-lived if you think you're going to get away with taking all that money. Because 99.9% of people are going to get caught. And guys are going to give you up because their life's going to come before yours and their families. And if you think you're different, it's naive. And you learn the hard way. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We talk about BetterHelp a lot on this show. And this month, we're discussing some of the stigmas around mental health.
For example, some people think you should wait until things are unbearable to go to therapy. But that simply is not true. Therapy is a tool to utilize before things get worse, and it can help you avoid those lows. It's like you don't take your car to the mechanic when it stops. You try to get the problem before it gets to that point.
And we've been taught that mental health shouldn't be a part of a normal life. But that's wrong too. We take care of our bodies with the gym, the doctor, nutrition. We should be focused on our minds just as much. Hey, you know, I had a rough life, and over the years, I'm not shy about it. I go to therapy, you know, Kevin, and I discuss it all the time with you. And BetterHelp is nothing better than that. You can just get on the phone, reach out. You don't have to leave your house. The weather doesn't matter. The time doesn't matter. You always have a 24-hour access.
BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anybody on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. And you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours.
Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp and The Elite Show. Listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/elite. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/elite. BetterHelp.
So what happened with me was I was out on bail. Now we're going to get to the Newt story, but this is the Newt Gingrich thing. But I was out on bail, and Kenny, I don't know, we're partners, right? You know, you want that one guy, you know. So I'm like trying to make a decision: do I run? Do I not? I go to Astoria Manor. I meet the owner of Astoria Manor, who I'm good friends with him. So I become a friend of him through Joey, and Joey, my friend, Bag of Donuts, was good with them. So I became friends with him, and he says to me, "This is the shrimp boat boat in Nicaragua gig. I'm going to be a shrimp boat captain in Nicaragua. So I mentioned it to Kenny. Nah, I'm not interested. I got my pension. I'm going to try to just maybe get.
Wasn't Adam Sandler selling shrimps or something? What's his one of those?
No, you're thinking.
The guy, the idiot that stands at the bus stop. Forrest Gump.
All I can think of is box of chocolate.
So they're going to make me Forrest Gump, and I don't care because I don't want to go to prison for life. Who wants to? So I'm running. I'll take your turn with the glasses. So I'm running. I go on the. I'm gonna run. I don't have any fucking. You guys are great with passports. I don't have anything, but I'm gonna run anyway. Okay, but I have to get the money. So while I'm out on bail, I don't know. Kenny's already cooperating.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, Kenny, what do you want to do? You want to go? No, I'm good. Maybe I get 5 years and do this or that. He says, I don't want to do any time, but, I'm not giving up my pension. I can't run, and he can't run and keep his 3/4 disability pension that I got him for the rest of his life. He can't keep it. So, I don't know. So he calls me and says, you want to go fishing? So I went, what the fuck do you want to go fishing for? Why do I want to go fishing? I got bills to pay. I got 3-4 houses with mortgages on. I got no job. I got shit's going bad. He wants to go fishing because he's got a pension, I figure. He meets me at one of my houses. We sit down. We get in the car. He opens the window. Kenny had hair like you, perfect, He and you, and almost me. So and he never opened the window in his fucking life because it would blow his hair. So he gets in the car. He adjusts the seat. Now, why did he adjust the seat?
He put the wire.
He put the transponder under the fucking seat of the car. I don't know this. I found out later on. And he's wearing a fucking wire, so that's why he opened the window. He thinks, or they think, they get a better transmission with the wire because the window's open. He gets in the car. He's in the car. 15, 20 seconds, he starts telling me about this fishing trip we're going on. I'm yelling at him, what the fuck fishing? I don't want to go fishing. I got no money. You want to go fishing? He goes, no. You remember we were talking about the shrimp? No, he didn't want to say it. He didn't want to be the one to say the words. Yeah. It had to come from me. Otherwise, it would have been something that he instigated. I said, oh, you mean the shrimp boat captain in Nicaragua? He goes, yeah. He jumps up and down like your friend there going, no, don't. The FBI, we never lied. So now we're in the car, right? And we're driving, and I go 1 block, and there's somebody sitting there. I go, someone's in that car. Long story short, it was the agent. I was shaking the car. And they cut this out of they cut this out of the documentary. It was in one of the originals. He's in the car holding on for dear life because I'm shaking the fucking. It's a burgundy Pathfinder. We're blacked out. You can't see anything. He's in the back, going back and forth, tossing all around in the car. He's saying, "I'm gonna have to roll in the street with this fucking guy. I got no guns. He knows that. So what's the gun? Right. He can't shoot me. He knows I got no guns." So so I go, Kenny, the car. We got to check the car. And Kenny's like, "Well, what's the difference if someone's in there or not?" I went, you motherfucker, are you serious? I mean, someone might be following us and you don't want to know? What's the difference if they're following us or not? So we get in the car, we drive around, I see another car. I go, another one. Guy's reading the newspaper. Oh, you're reading the newspaper on a block by my house. Two fat detectives. Hey, come on, that's stupid. So now we're driving and I go to him. So he starts going down the list. And I'm like, this isn't right. And we're going, this guy, this thing. Remember we did this. Remember we did that. Remember Batter. Remember Adam. Remember the car. Remember the money. Remember the fucking heroin. All this shit. Gordo, Eddie, all these fucking cop, this cop, that cop. He's mentioned all these names. And finally I go to him, what about the cash in your freezer that they missed? Don't talk about my money. Don't talk about my cash. I'm like, oh, we can only talk about my money and my cash. He wants to know. He's asking me if I got money in the Cayman Islands. Yeah. Like I got bank. Like I got 100,000 cash laying around.
You might have found that a lot.
Yeah, you might have been in the
Cayman. I lived in the Cayman too when I was on the run. Yeah.
So, but don't talk about my fucking money in my freezer. Oh, we can only talk about mine.
Right.
He goes,
right.
So you know what his answer was? It was a good answer. The guy gave some good answer. I will give him credit. He goes, I know about my stuff. I just want to know we're on the same page with your stuff. Yeah. So it was a good answer, because if they ask me about Mike this and Mike that, I want to be on the same page with you with my answer. So the fucking cocksucker had a good enough answer to get him through that, And so I understand when you start telling me I didn't lie to the FBI, but he didn't tell the truth. He didn't tell everything.
Yeah.
Just like Kenny. He didn't tell him that there was 15, 20,000 cash in his fridge. And now he was hiding it from them and he didn't want to blow his fucking deal. That's why they get scared. Because they say to you right up, right?
Yeah, don't lie.
Don't lie.
If we catch you lying.
You're
Like
done.
I know a bunch of guys that were in prison that like they just lied about what, like, and then they'll take all your information, they'll use your information, and then they're looking for any reason at all to try and fuck you out of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's what he was scared of. And that's what that guy and that girl, they were afraid of because they didn't admit that their home was illegitimately gained, obviously.
Oh, well, they had a ton of fucking
Well, you know,
stuff.
it's like anything else. They're naive to the system. You know, when they're trying to manipulate a system, and once that ball starts rolling, it ain't going away. We all know that. And, you know, I missed one of the guys before, actually, when my car stuff was going on, Timmy Donald. He's another guy that wanted to pretend like he was a gangster. He was friends with me since a kid. He ends up testifying against me. He got the agents involved in setting up stings against us. And then he testified in other trials, 4 guys against guys. And, you know, he's been an informant for a while. But he was one of these guys that was maneuvering on the street. And when he gets jammed up, he thinks he can back up and just give everybody up. And then they find out the hard way that, you know, you're going to lie, you're going to be fucked too. But, you know, he went forward and testified against me and some other guys. And he ends up getting out from under it. And he ran out of Tampa. But once this system starts on you, you're doing something, whether you're a gangster, whether you're mortgage fraud, whether you're an ex-cop, or, you know, people that are out on the street don't understand. When they put an investigation,
You're done. You're done.
Yeah.
When they know that you're the guy and they're going to target you, they have the resources. This is America.
Yeah.
And you're not beating them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always, I've mentioned this a couple of times, is that guys have, like when I did this show Concrete.
Right.
Did you do
Podcast kid here. Yeah. Interesting guy.
Danny.
Interesting guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did Concrete, and like I got a ton of people that were reaching out to me. You know, they track me through Instagram and Facebook and shit and Messenger and start being like, "Hey, bro, can I talk to you?"
Yeah.
I go, you know, like I'll help you commit your fraud again. Like, can you coach me on how to do it? And I'll walk in the bank and I'll this. Yeah. And I'm always like, bro, I'm not going back to fucking prison. And you know, no, bro, I already do credit card fraud, but I'm not at your level. I'm like, I'm not interested, bro. I'm just happy to be able to turn the fucking TV. Okay. Like,
my own clicker.
Yeah.
My own fucking channel changer.
I had one guy that was communicating with me, right, from New York.
Right.
Hey man, I've been in trouble before. I know, like, never asked me anything. Just like, hey, just wanted to reach out and say, if you ever need anything, like, I'm here for you. If you ever come to fucking New York, like, I've watched your shit a bunch of times. I've watched you on a couple podcasts. You're a pretty cool guy. I like you, like how you're honest. Just real cool. Right. But he'd heard me talk about how guys keep reaching out to me, asking me to help them commit fraud. Right. So he didn't say anything. So he never mentioned it. This went on for 6 months. One day he says, hey, my girlfriend's in Tampa. I'm flying down there to, like, I've never heard about the girlfriend, but I was like, he's like, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind grabbing some Starbucks coffee. Yeah, I know you like coffee. I said, yeah, all right. Yeah. So he flies down.
We've all met people in that, that way. On social media, we meet people.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, I'm
not scared. You scared?
No, there's a Starbucks next to the fucking.
Well, it's good for your business when you network. You know, whatever.
Well, yeah, and I've got to go there. It's right next to the art store.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, legit.
It's right next to the art place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So I go and he comes and we have we drink some coffee and I sit down and we're 2 minutes in the conversation and he's like, yeah, I own in Manhattan, he owns a hair salon. Mm-hmm. He's like, I've owned it for this long. My dad owned it. We have a long lease. We have this. Then my dad died. I this, I that. So he goes on and on. Right. And I'm like, okay, cool. He said, yeah, you know, the lease is coming up and this, and I don't want to stay in Manhattan anymore. I'd like to get rid of it. I'd like to come down here. He is, you know, but the problem is, you know, money. And he's like, right now I got this much money. I forget what it was, a few $100,000, right, where I can do this. And so I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, what, but if I could get like 300,000-400,000 more, I could come down with $500,000. I could get a place. I could do this. I could do that. I'm like, right. He said, so I want to let you know, I told you I was in jail, right? I didn't give nobody up. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, yeah, you did 3 years in a fucking state prison, or a state fucking medium security prison.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's like, I didn't give anybody, and plus the kind of people, he couldn't give up the kind of people, you know what I'm saying? And they were family members and shit. Like, you're not giving up your mom.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay. And I'm like, right. He's like, so I want you to know I'm a solid guy. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And he goes, like, if you could help me, he's like, I'll go in the fucking bank. I'll do everything that you don't have to be on film. And I'm like, I go, so I let him make his pitch.
Right.
And I look at him, I went, okay. I said, first of all, I said, you don't have the skill set to figure this out. Secondly, because he wanted me to spend a week with me and have me teach him.
Right.
I said, no. I go, so I'd have to be involved. That's cool, bro. Like, I'll split everything with you. I said, I understand. I said, I appreciate that. I said, so if I was willing to teach you everything that I know, get you up to a point where you could do it yourself, or if I was willing to set the whole thing up and you're a crash test dummy, you walk in the bank, you come out. He goes, right. I said, what the fuck do I need you for?
Yeah. Right.
I said, why would I split anything with? Why would I get a co-defendant that can turn on me? No, I wouldn't do that, bro. I said, here's the thing. I said, you don't have to. You'll fuck up along the way.
Your life.
You'll tell somebody. You'll get caught. I said, and you don't have to tell anybody. You've already got me indicted. Right. Your cell phone has text messages. Yeah. You now flew down here. They have the I said they have satellite images GPS. Of you making your calls. I said, I'm in here. I said, I'm in your phone.
Global positioning.
We're
here today.
We've
Same
both
time.
been texting.
Yes.
We're done. Yeah. I said, I don't ever have to say anything. I said, do you know how hard it is for them to indict me? Mr. Cox and this guy were in the same place at the same time. This guy 2 months later got $1 million and walked away. Right. And we caught him 4 months later when he told his girlfriend. I said, so they're going to, I said, even if you said he had nothing to do with it, I said, they're going to say that to the grand jury. I'm getting indicted.
Doesn't matter. You'll get indicted.
When I go to trial, because I wouldn't testify you at trial. I said, doesn't matter. I can't get on the stand because they're going to say, Mr. Cox, how many times have you been in prison? How many times have you been charged? How many of this? How many of that? I said, I'm done. Right. So I said, they'll get 3 guys from the fucking jail to say that I was involved. Of course. They'll stand up. The jury's like, he's been indicted. He won't take the fucking stand. He's all this. We can see the communications. We can see the guy fly down. Right. These 3 guys say he did it. Done. Mr. Cox, he'll probably just get probation. I said, and the judge will give me 30 fucking years and I'll never see the light of day again. Right. I said, and you don't have to cooperate. Right. I said, that's the position I'm in. I said, so I appreciate you coming down, and I'm so sorry that you had to fly down here to hear this. I could have told you on a fucking phone call. And I got up and I got my car and I left. Yeah. Because I'm done. Yeah. If the DEA came to me right now and said, we just indicted you on a 10-kilo conspiracy, I've never seen cocaine in my life. You know what I'd say? Can I get a deal? I mean, can I work something out? Like, I'm done. I know. There's nothing I can do. Right. There's nothing you can do. You go. Like, I already know you got me. Can I get 3 years? Yeah. Can you put me here so that my girlfriend can go visit me while she hangs out? While she's I mean, whilst we hope. Right. For the 6 months that she stays on the phone until she finally gets tired of me saying money on my books. I love you. I love you. Money on my books. God, I feel bad. I always felt bad for those guys on the phone. Like Saturday morning. Where the fuck were you last night? Yeah. Where the fuck did you
I joke about everybody on Friday night. Everybody run after we go through count. They run for the phone. Yes. And especially back in the old days in McKean, so because you had late night. Yeah. So they run for the phones, and I would tell like a young guy that was in the
beginning stages. Beginning stages.
Let them run. That line's going to dissipate in a minute.
Nobody's answering.
Their families all do the same thing. Yeah. I went to sleep. The baby was sleeping. I turned the ringer off. Blah blah blah. Yeah. And they know everybody knows 3/4 or 9/10 of a bullshit. Right. So the next morning they wake up at the crack of dawn,
run out, break the door,
and they call the house like he said, and they start yelling, "Where were you? I know you're out." You know, and it is what it is. Listen, you can't blame them. They ain't gonna stop their lives while everybody's in jail. Yep. So they're around for the good times. They go for the ride. As soon as the ride ends, everybody's skirting out on you or testifying against you. Just the way it works.
I showed up at Mariana. This makes me feel. I show up at Mariana. Now I've been in New York for 2 years, right? I get shipped to Mariana, and I meet this guy. His name was Stanislopoulos, whatever. A nice kid from New York. He's funny because he had a flat ass and he was a hairy Greek guy, so he had hair from here to down to his feet. He could be naked and he looked like he had a cover on. Anyway, so he says. He says they broke him in prison. They said to him, and I'm not going to say that exactly what they said. Just picture right now, she's taking a massive dick, right now, and you're sitting here in prison worried about it. Just hold on. It's happening right now. You need to picture that happening right now, because for the next 18-year sentence he got, you know, you got to remember, you're done. You're not home. You're not hitting it. It's getting taken care of without you. He said, this is him. I wanted to kill this guy that he told me that this woman I loved, that I got 18 years and she's going to hang on by me. He said, I wanted to kill him, but the guy was too big, so I couldn't do anything to him. He said, I sat there and thought about it. He says, for about 2-3 weeks. He said, then I realized nothing I can do.
You know, I was in Hillsborough, right? I'm sitting in a block. Guy's about 6'6", comes back, and he took a 3-year plea. Just what you said, 3, and he was facing, I think, 5 or 6. He takes a 3-year plea. Another guy goes, and we told him to take plea, this other guy. He goes and he blows trial. He gets 27 years. So he's crying, right? He comes back, you know, can't blame the guy, right?
Yeah.
He's crying, it's normal.
We're human, even though gangsters are human.
I cried like a small child.
Yeah. And I seen the other guy, and he starts telling him, oh, man, stop being a punk, man. Take it on the chin. And so the other guy says, I should have cooperated. Now he says it straight out. Everybody's sitting there. So he goes, what'd you say, man? I'm a soldier. Don't talk like that. And then he says to him, oh, shit, you're a soldier. You got 3 years.
Yeah.
You're a soldier 3 years.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm 40 years old. I got 27 years. My life's over now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're done.
You know, and it's funny is because you said it before, and for the naive kids that are out there, the guy that's going to get 30 years, 27 years, 35 years, and you got this dummy talking about 3 years. Well, who can't do 3 years?
Yeah, skid bit.
You know, 3 years, of course you're going to be a soldier. Talk that shit when you're facing that
3 years.
Because, you know, they all talk that.
Yeah, they're all
And
killers.
then until that time comes. And then that time comes and they're seeing everybody turning on them. And they're getting 30 and all their friends are giving them up. And, you know, the usual. Everybody's saving themselves and they're giving you up. Then the reality comes in. What do I do now? Because the reality is...
It comes to all of us. It comes to all of us at some point.
Gave me up. I just named another guy, Mike Mallon. I can name them all. Just that this is just the Tampa guys that were giving me up. You know, I had dozens of guys coming in, including a guard from a prison that tried to set me up on a telephone that was working with us. So, you know, you're going to get everybody and their mother running in to try to save themselves and go against you. That's just the way it is. And the guys that do stand, you said it earlier a little bit and you stopped short. Guys that talk, some of them are never offered to talk.
Right.
There is no deal for them.
Right.
Because they don't know anything. Because of maybe it's a bad crime. They killed a kid or killed a woman or something. So they're not going to offer them anything. Or they're not big enough. It's just for them to ask them for anything. So those are the guys that, you know, so when people say the jails are full of guys, but 3/4 or 9/10 of them or 99% of them would talk or are talking. Or,
if they had someone to give up. Right, yeah.
And guys really don't, that ain't true. Yeah, it is true. If you know anybody in this life, it's true.
Yeah.
And I've said it over and over. You know, you talk about mob because I was involved in a mob. Every mob boss and every crew was ratted.
Everyone. Yeah.
So
so Johnny, another thing, and the guys that haven't ratted were working with the FBI, many of them, for years. Is this true?
Yeah,
I mean, this is what we've come to know.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you've heard about some of the stories. Mob boss so-and-so, he was giving information to the FBI for years so he could run his own crew without problem.
Well, you know, this was Whitey Bulger.
Right.
This was Joe Messina. When he got caught, he wore a wire. And his whole crew, captains down, were all talking.
What about Chapo and Mayo?
Yeah.
I don't know about Chapo. What about him?
Chapo and Meyer were giving information to the DEA in Mexico for like a decade on the other cartels.
The rivals, yeah.
On their rivals.
Yeah, I've gotten that information.
Right.
It's a movie, right?
Yeah.
It's a fantasy. It's a movie. Everybody loves it. But the part they leave out is every outfit is working with law enforcement on the street, giving up the other outfit.
Yep.
They're dropping dimes on them. So Prohibition, if you watch it, this is what went on. So they could catch their load. So what is that? Is that considered a rat? It's not a rat. You know, just
they always.
It's dumb word what people use is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's what was the guy? Big Herc.
Yeah.
Big Herc is I did his channel.
Oh, did you?
my God, bro, are you serious?
Oh, I know when you have it because of what you said, right? You said,
yeah, in the middle, like this guy I fucking contact. Hey, by the way, such and such, I'm going to be in LA. I don't know if you want me. Absolutely, yeah. I said, do you need to? You want to talk to me or anything? And, no, I know your story. I know that. Okay, cool. He knows my story. We're good. I get there. He comes in. They sit down. We start talking. And he's like, yeah, this and that. And I should have known when I started telling my story. I said, yeah. I said, so they caught my buddy who was actually my best friend.
right.
The second time, like the one people wore a wire, and he's like, oh man. I was like, yeah. Well, anyway, they did what they did. It's fine. They got kids. That's fine. And he kind of like looked at me. I keep going. Yeah. Then I get to where my buddy got caught in Orlando and told on me. And I said, he is fuck your best fucking friend. And I went, yeah, well, he's got a daughter. I said, he did what he did, whatever. And he's like, and you see it in his face, and I'm starting to realize.
I think I saw this from you.
I argue with him.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him thinking.
I remember.
I'm starting thinking, I don't think he does know my story. And then when I get to the point where then they give me, boom.
Just straight out said.
Oh, yeah, 26 years. Oh, I knew because by that point, I'm ready for the fucking shock value.
Oh, yeah.
Then boom, I said, yeah, they give me I said, they catch me, I said, and they give me 26 years. And he's like, 26 years? You could see it in his face. And I went, oh, yeah. I said, bro, and trust me. I said, like, my lawyer told me to cooperate. I said, and he goes, like that.
Yeah.
I said, oh, no. I fucking tried. I fucking was ready to cut everybody's throat.
Yeah.
And he was like, I realize, you don't
know my story.
I start, bam, bam. Here's what you don't see. The card filled up. So he had to they cut the card and they cut the thing. He stands up and walks around the room.
Yeah. He's like, I got this fucking rat in my house.
Furious. He's furious. And I realized this guy's huge. Yeah. His cameraman, who's also, he told me they'd both been in the fucking in the pen. Right. He's done state time. He's fucking covered in tattoos. Yeah. And I'm looking at him thinking, I'm in a hotel room with these two fucking maniacs in the middle of COVID. The place is empty. Like, this could go bad for me.
Yes, this could go bad.
So instead of, I start arguing back. Yeah. But instead of really going in hard, like being a real dick, like, because I've had these conversations where I've just tried to, where the guy ends up just looking like I just make you.
You annihilate him.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like just telling him you're a fucking,
I know.
But I realize I got nobody here.
He's got no backup right now. No one can call 911 for you.
Yeah. So, but I started arguing with him. But what his whole thing was, it was like, so no, you would never cooperate. Like, no. And I'm sitting there. All I can think of is,
I've heard this 1,000 times.
Yeah. So you're exactly.
I've heard
not
this
just that.
1,000
So
times.
you realize that your next door neighbor is running a child sex
right.
It's good. And I've had this conversation where they're always like, oh, I fucking take care of it myself. Really? So because he's a pedophile, you go kill him, right? Right. Yeah. There's a list in every fucking state. How many pedophiles have you killed?
That's right.
None.
Yeah. Really? Had you gone around?
Right. They all talk. It's all bullshit. It's all.
I say this all the time about the mob. I said there's guys that cooperate all over the place. Bosses now. I'm not talking about underlings. Why don't you start there? And then maybe somebody will believe your bullshit.
Yeah.
How come nobody's hitting any of these bosses all these years? So, they talk shit, but they don't even own a gun, 3/4 of these guys. That's why I make fun of them. And people say, oh, fuck him. No, the reality of it is the reality. I had good friends of mine that grew up with me. I get it why they cooperated against me. Just what you said. I get it. I'm not going to go before their family. And if anybody thinks any different, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Or they're dumb and naive.
In New York City,